Hi everyone, welcome to Soul Therapy. Kristen here, and I'm here to teach you today about negative thought patterns, what they are, how they've been created over time, and what you can do to change them in no time at all. So let's get started. Let's just briefly talk about how negative thought patterns are created. This goes back to something I like to call the theory of mind. If you could picture your mind as a big circle and divide it into two halves, the top half is your conscious mind. Your conscious mind deals in everyday decision making, in interacting with the environment, in really participating consciously in a now moment space. The bottom half is identified by your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind is full of stored experiences, thoughts that you have developed over a lifetime by experiencing something, making a judgment on it, and having reinforcements that reinforce that your judgment about it was either true or not true. This is a very simplified version of it. Hypnotherapists use also a third part of the mind, which is called the critical mind. It is a gateway that allows conscious material to enter into the subconscious mind, opening a space in the critical mind or the gateway and allowing the information that our clients would like to store in their subconscious mind for immediate subconscious retrieval. But if you are going to be doing this on your own and you're not going to be using hypnotherapy, it's important that you change the behavior in the same way that you created the behavior. Let me give you an example. So let's say you're 7 years old and you're shopping with your mother and you would like a pair of boots that you see at the store. And your mother says, we can't afford that. So let's fast forward. Now you're going into your teenagehood and maybe, you have to ride a bike to school while other friends are driving because their parents bought them a car. You may start to say, well, I can't afford that. We don't have the money, right? So now you're getting into your 20s. You can no longer live with your parents. You have to live out on your own. You have to get your own job, your own apartment. Well, a lot of your friends may be going to school and living under their parents' roofs. And so they can do things like buy their own car, or they can go on vacations a couple times a year, and you really just can't afford those kind of things. You have to pay for your apartment, you have to pay for your car, and you can't really afford to go on vacations with your friends, and you keep reinforcing that you cannot afford things. Now, fast forward into your adulthood, maybe this is where you are right now in your life, and you see a lot of people around you that are affording things that you would like, vacations, homes, whatever it may be, and you are busy working around the clock and you can never afford anything that you want. Or at least this is what you tell yourself. This is how a negative belief is created. It's created by an initial incident that creates the idea that this belief could even exist, or this thought could even exist. I can't afford this. I can't afford the things that I want. And over time, it is supplied with reinforcement or proof that that thought is true. And as more proof comes in and bypasses the critical mind, it stores itself really strong in your subconscious mind as a belief or a negative thought. When many of these incidences that are negative in your life have happened, you start to develop negative thought patterns behind specific subjects. And sometimes many people can just become negative people because they've had so many experiences in their life that they perceived to be negative because of the initial introduction in their childhood. We know now how a negative thought pattern is introduced, how it accumulates, and how it's stored in the subconscious mind. You may be thinking that your negative thoughts are uncontrollable and automatic, but I want you to take the power away from that idea. Instead of thinking of it as uncontrollable and automatic, I want you to realize that it is habitual and practiced. If you can create a negative thought pattern in this way, you can also create a positive thought pattern in the same way. The good news is it's much easier to create the positive thought pattern on purpose than it was to create the negative pattern over time subconsciously. The reason is because when you decide that you have negative thought patterns that you no longer want to experience, and that you'd much rather experience the reality that you will witness if you are thinking more positively, then already you have the desire and the intention, which is the first step towards changing your negative thought patterns into positive ones. So how do we get started on this process? As I mentioned earlier, the first step in changing your negative thought patterns into your positive thought patterns is to just simply have an intention with a desire to change. If you're someone who doesn't believe that it's possible to change negative thought patterns and become a more positive thinking person, then this video is probably not for you at this time. But if you're somebody who believes that it's possible to change your negative thought patterns into positive ones, and that by doing that, your reality outside will also change, then keep watching. All right, so let's be real. There aren't just one negative thought that you have in your life. You can have different negative thoughts depending on the situation. You can have different intensities of negative thoughts depending on the situation. Find the area that is most critical to you to change your thought patterns in, the one that's affecting your life in the most profound way. Identify what that is and what the negative thoughts are. Pick one. Let's start easy, okay? Let's not overwhelm ourselves with too much information. Just take one negative thought that you know you need to change right now. What is that thought? Once you have identified it, find out what you would like the thought to be, which is usually the inversion of that thought, right? So if my thought is, I can't afford that, then the positive thought or the inversion of it would be, I can afford the things that I want in life. So now that we've identified the positive thought that we would like, the idea is to replace the negative with the positive. That means that we are no longer giving any power to that negative thought. It may be hard for us to go from absolute negative to absolute positive. So it's okay to find something in between to work out through this process and work your way to that positive thought that you really want to have. But if you're capable of going straight from the negative to the positive, that's great. Here's how we're going to do it. As I've mentioned in many of my videos, I'm a big fan of journaling. Journaling is a great way to meditate, especially if you're not someone who's comfortable with silent meditations. Get yourself a positive proof journal. In this journal, you're going to be writing 1, positive affirmations, 2, positive thoughts that you would like to think, which could actually be your positive affirmations. And lastly, the proof that whatever your affirmations are saying, whatever your positive thoughts are that you are writing down in this journal, proof that it's actually true. Because there's no way your subconscious mind is going to allow the critical mind to open and slip something in unless it's in agreement that this is true. You must not try to fool yourself. You're not stupid. You're not going to get anything past your critical mind that it does not believe or want to believe. So it's important that you pick positive thoughts that are in alignment with what you want and that are things that you can believe at this time. You can always change it later. So once you've identified what your positive thought is and you've gotten your positive proof journal, I want you to write affirmations in the journal that support the positive thought. So for someone who feels like they cannot afford the things they want in life and they want to change their belief or their negative thought to a positive thought that says that they can afford the things they want in life, then they would write something like, I have so many things in my life currently that I've been able to afford. I am currently abundant. I experience wealth in so many ways. On and on and on. But only things that, resonate with you personally, okay? As you are writing these things, it's important to feel the emotion of what it feels like to have what you are speaking positively about. Because the emotion in conjunction with the thought creates the reality. It does. And if you don't know anything about that, that's law of attraction, please go visit my YouTube page and look at the video entitled How to Manifest Using the Law of Attraction. It's one of my favorites and it's something I use all the time. The next thing I want you to do throughout your day, look around you and look for things that support your new positive thought or your affirmations that you've been choosing to support that thought. So in the running example that we're using, I would start simple and look around my immediate environment and say, well, I was able to afford that book from Amazon that I bought last month. I was able to afford that belt that I bought the other week. And you can expand on this and say, well, I was able to afford my groceries. I was able to pay my bills. These are actual, real incidences that you have actually been able to afford the things you want in life. Don't you want to live in your own home? Don't you want to be able to buy your own groceries? Let's keep it real with ourselves here. You were able to purchase the things that you want in life. It's important to start small because we're trying to train our brain, our subconscious, into allowing the proof into the subconscious mind through the critical mind. Once you have used simple things, you can now step it up to some more robust things. Maybe you have a flat screen TV you bought last Christmas. You were able to afford that. Maybe you actually have a nice car that you make payments on every month. You're able to afford that. Maybe you have the brand new iPhone or at least the latest edition. Many people cannot afford that, but you did. Okay? So it's very important that you keep it real with yourself, not play the victim role, step into your power and say, this is truth. I actually afforded this. I actually afforded that. Or whatever the negative thought that you have, crush it. Get real with yourself and find out where it's not true and where the opposite, the positive, is true, and write it down in your journal. Writing is an ideomotor response that delivers the message directly to your subconscious. So when you are hearing the affirmations on YouTube or online, when you are repeating the affirmations, these are all ways that it's coming into the conscious mind, and it's kind of like floating above your critical mind area, waiting to go into the subconscious. And when you have this intention and desire, that critical mind starts to open up so that you can enter in new belief system, new positive thought patterns, right? When you are writing down the things that you are hearing and speaking that you want, they are solidifying themselves in the subconscious mind using the ideomotor response. It's beautiful. If you do it about an hour a day, if you really spend the first thing you wake up in the morning, this is really important. Before you turn on the TV, before you check your messages, before you go on Facebook, don't go on Facebook. Don't watch the news, please. Do this first. If you do this first, this is setting the tone for your day. And now you have set a tone that everywhere you go, you're looking for proof. Your subconscious mind is trained now. It's looking for proof. Within a week, if you consistently do this, you will see changes, not only in your thought patterns, but in your reality. Now, once you've graduated from little things in your environment to larger things in your environment, I want you to test this in the field. Go out and test a situation where you would have thought the negative thought. Maybe it's people can't drive. Go out on the road and look for proof of your new positive thought. The point is to never, ever, ever, ever give power again to the negative thought. If you find any proof to reinforce that negative thought, you're going to have to start all over again. Okay? Because it's been reinforced for how many years? Forever. Okay? So it's already got all this momentum behind it. You're trying to put momentum behind something else. And if you pick something you don't believe, it's going to take a lot of energy. But if you pick something that you can believe, it's just something that's less general and more specific. And then once you get more specific, drill it down even more until there's nothing left. Just have fun with it. Get smart. This is all fun stuff. If you're going to create this as a chore, maybe you won't do it every day until you start to see results, But be patient with yourself. Give yourself time to actually see results. And don't look for results. They'll come. Trust me, when you're least expecting it, you'll start to notice, oh my gosh, I just realized I haven't had that negative thought in a really long time. And I've actually been having more positive thoughts and more positive reality situations have been reflected around me in my environment. I would love it if you guys could share your results with me. Let me know how you're doing, what challenges you're having, like I said before, all the good things that are coming out of this for you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one as much as I've enjoyed making it. Please let me know in the comments what you'd like to hear from me, what you'd like to see, so I can provide you guys with the kind of videos that'll really help you to live life on purpose. As always, if you'd like to get in touch with me, please email me at kristen@soultherapytct.com, or you can visit my website at www.soultherapytct.com. Bye, lovies.